Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with the patch 6.0 B rundown. So this one's pretty surprising because we just had 6.0 A literally a week, like 7 days ago, and generally the minimum time between patches is 2 weeks. So generally it's 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes you get like a month, but I can't remember the last time you had like only 1 week between patches. Although the previous patch, the changes were not very big, and this one isn't very big either, so I guess they're two small patches in close proximity. But either way, let's just get straight into it. So first up, the first champion who's changed is Rumble. Now I actually think Rumble is in a decent spot. Apparently maybe his win rate is a little bit too low, or he's not performing too well in a certain elo, but Riot's giving him a buff, so the buff not the biggest impact though, because it's on his scrap shield, which is the shield, and the movement speed increase. So it doesn't really affect his damage, but basically what he's getting is he's getting more shield from a base off of his ability power, more movement speed by 5% at each rank, and the shield, of course, the shield and movement speed value you get when you're at the danger zone is 150%. So overall, a decent buff to Rumble. I mean, extra movement speed and extra shield is always going to be a good thing. So Rumble gets even better. Now Kalista. You will see I'm actually doing a Kalista. I actually am going to release a Kalista video. I believe it's tomorrow, which of course I recorded before this patch. But Kalista, I was saying in that video, and I'm going to tell you guys now, is not in a very good spot in the current meta. However, they are giving her a buff to Sentinel. So this is a very creative buff, and I'll explain why. So basically, the percent of target's maximum health is getting increased by 2%, and the cooldown of this is going down by 2 seconds to 8 seconds instead. So overall, you need your duo partner, which is generally going to be the support, to prop the W with you, right? So the problem with Kalista is that she was really strong in the solo lane, because she can basically hop all over the place and bully melee top laners, right? So they had to nerf her base AD like twice to kind of kick her out of the top lane, but as a result, she's really weak in the ADC role. So by giving her this buff, they can basically make ADC Kalista stronger, but top lane Kalista, but they don't directly buff top lane Kalista, because unless you bind to your jungler and your jungler ganks constantly, this buff is not going to matter for top lane Kalista, whereas it is going to buff ADC Kalista. So overall, a genius buff by Riot, and it's going to help Kalista by quite a bit. So Evelynn is getting a buff to her base damage on her ulti. Now, I have seen her play a decent amount. I guess because assassins, after the durability patch, don't have as much impact. But honestly, in a way, if you keep buffing all the assassins, you're kind of undoing the durability patch, right? You make everyone else tankier, then you give the assassins more damage. So at net, like, nothing really happens, right? But anyways, Evelynn's damage is getting increased by 30 at base rank, then 20, then 10. So at the final rank, it's still going to be the same. So this is going to help out her early game quite a bit to, of course, help her snowball. Overall, decent buff to Evelynn. Now, Jinx is getting a pretty big buff as well, in my opinion. So mana consumption for each rocket is going down from 30 to 20. Now, of course, Jinx runs out of runs out of mana real quickly because of her rockets. And this is going to help the situation quite a lot, right? So the cost is going down significantly. And furthermore, the rocket damage is going up by 3%. Of course, 3% in the grand scheme of things is not a huge amount, considering you're talking about 107 to 110. But it's still going to be a little bit of extra damage, which is always going to be useful. So also a nice buff to Jinx. Now, Urgot getting a little bit of a buff as well. The damage on his passive is going up by 1% at each rank. Of course, you rank up the passive whenever you level your ultimate. And yeah, he has fallen off quite a bit. Like, there was a time where he was one of the best top laners, and then he didn't actually get nerfed. Or he did get nerfed one time, I think, but everyone else just kind of got better, and then he basically just started falling down the tier list, as you guys saw from my tier list a couple of days ago. So he's getting a nice small buff to help him out a little bit. Now, Riven has been doing too well in the jungle, but not as well in the Baron lane. Yep, I guess that's kind of true. So her Q damage is getting increased by a decent amount, 10 at each rank, which is, of course, she procs it 3 times. It's a bread and butter ability, so it's a really big buff. But the damage to monsters is now 70%. So in compensation, she's going to get a bit of a slower jungle clear to kind of bring her in line with other junglers. And the shield she's getting from her E is also increasing. Now, I think buffing Riven is always going to be dangerous, because I actually think Riven is okay right now. But she's definitely going to get better. Now, Camille, I think, obviously you saw my Baron lane tier list. She's one of the best, if not the best Baron laner right now. So she's getting a nerf on her W, which is going to reduce her max health damage by 1% at each rank. Not the biggest of nerfs, so it's still fine. I think she's still going to be good. And Kill is actually getting a nerf. So the heal on at all ranks is actually getting, sorry, it's not getting, it's getting a nerf at the early game. The heal is getting a nerf at the early game, but it's getting a sorry, I'm sorry to confuse you guys. It's getting a nerf at all ranks, right? I kind of misread the numbers there. It's getting a nerf at all ranks, and the damage on her E is also getting nerfed. I don't see Kill being strong personally, so I still think she's one of the worst champions in the game, but I don't know why they're nerfing her. And then you have Amumu. Amumu, of course, is the best jungler for quite some time now. The damage of his W is going down at all ranks, and the scaling is also going down. We really needed that nerf. And finally, the Curse of the Sand Mummy AP ratio is going down by 10%. Doesn't matter too much because not many people build AP Amumu. Most people go for tank Amumu. And Soraka is also getting a 1 second cooldown increase on her heal at all ranks. I don't really see Soraka being played a lot, but this is a decent nerf to her. And other than that, the Baron Polymorph is, the CC duration is going from 2 seconds to 1 second, which of course is great because everyone's getting hit by this and it's causing chaos at the Baron, so I think this is good. ARM's getting some changes that we're not really going to talk about. And that's pretty much it for the patch, new skins coming. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.